Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the Quad Para Association's employment webinar. I guarantee that you're going to take a lot of knowledge back, as well as learning about QASA itself, our organization, and what we offer, the services we offer, and taking a lot back knowing about persons with disabilities. So my name is Daneshri, and I'm the recruitment officer for our flagship program, which is called the Work Readiness Program. I will talk about that further on, but our first speaker is our general manager, Mr. Richard Barron, who will introduce the organization and give us a little bit background.
Yes, thanks, Daneshri. Good morning, everybody. I just want to maybe just firstly acknowledge all the people that are here today and for taking the time out to spend some time with us. If I look in the chat, I see some of the people has already introduced themselves. I see Becky Jele from KZN Society for the Blind, Nomsa from FlySAT Marius Coastal KZN TVET College. And then we also have Alicia from Supreme Poultry. And then is it Lindy Malion from Senior HRBP at Amazon. Len, who will be one of our guest speakers today from the World Within. Christina, HR Manager from Training and Resources Early Education. Greg Bowers, EnviroPark Skills Development Center. We have Janae, Program Coordinator for Allied Healthcare at the People Development Center. Lisa Bradshaw from Bradshaw LaRue Consulting, which will also be one of our guest speakers today. Nadine from Department of Health and Wellness, Emergency Medical Services. Gresham from Africa Advocacy in Cape Town. And then also we have Aubrey from the warmer city of Durban. Cape Town is just as warm, Aubrey, for the next few days. Tanya Naidu, Senior Recruiter, People with Disabilities Recruiter at Amazon. And then, yeah, Aubrey is a Senior Human Capital Manager at the Queen Municipality. Keith from the Psychology Department at University of South Africa. Samantha, H&S Labor Brokers. And then we have Tiva Koni from a lead HRBP at SABC. And Joanne, I hope I say that right. Joanne Spamus, Sub-District Manager, Western Cape Department of Health and Wellness. Then Jacques Ainsley, Station Manager, National Provincial EMS. And then it's Mari Burke from the Garden Route Health Net. Yeah, if I missed anyone, welcome, and I thank you again for your time. And the mere fact that you are here today shows that you have a great interest in people with disabilities, and also just seeing how we can improve our lives and then make the best of our worlds in partnership with the likes of employers. So my task is to introduce the organization, and I just want to get my presentation up and running. Yeah, there we go. So, Quad Para Association of South Africa. Our name comes from the combined word quad and para, quadriplegic and paraplegics. Those are the two disabilities that we serve as members of the organization. So quadriplegic and a paraplegic, the difference between the two, a quad is someone that is affected in all four of their limbs. So if I can maybe just, if I show my hands, you can see the screen. I don't have full function of my hands and I don't have full function of my legs. That makes me a quadriplegic. A paraplegic is a person with only functioning two of their limbs. Most of the times it is the upper limbs that is fully functional, that is a paraplegic. And those are the type of members that we take on as part of the organization. Our vision is fairly simple, that all quads and paras will live their lives to the full potential. Through what we offer as an organization, our projects and services, we want you to live your life to your full potential and become a productive member of society. How we do that as part of our mission, we want to improve the lives of quads and paras by securing resources to advocate for them, educate the society and themselves, capacitate our members, and also support and mobilize them as part of our mission. I am a quad for the last 23 years of my life due to a diving accident. I've been quite economically active, spent 18 years in corporate, and I'm now the general manager of QASA for the last few months since April. And it's really a fulfilling work that we do. Just to give you just a glimpse of the impact that QASA had on my life, I want to play a small video and then also just go further into what QASA does and the impact it makes.
And I've been living with a physical disability for 23 years. It was tragedy that struck me, leaving me paralyzed from the chest down after a diving accident. It felt like the end of the world, but I knew I couldn't give up, no matter how hard it seemed. My family was my rock and my strength. I lost most of my friends, but the ones who stayed by my side are my family, and I'd fight for them. Finding love and hope for the future was my driving force. Then I discovered QAWC, a leading disability organization for people like myself. They offered resources that helped me connect with other people facing similar challenges, and I felt like it was my chance to make the best of my world. The organization assisted me to drive. They supported me as I studied for my degree and provided me with assistive devices I needed to overcome my limitations. QAWC helped me to realize my full potential. Through sheer willpower, I conquered my fears and limitations. Now I live a full and active life. I'm not just a person with a disability. I create, I contribute, I strive to improve the lives of others. I'm paving the way for the next generation. Find inspiration and live life to the fullest. No matter what challenges we may face, we can all live and love beyond disability. I want you to know that it's possible to live and love beyond disability. I hope my story inspires you and raises awareness of inclusivity, love, and acceptance for people with disabilities.
Thank you. So I think if I look back on my life and what I've achieved in partnership and in support of what QASA does with their projects and services, I think that definitely makes me gratitude according to the quote we see here. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. And clearly, the vision that I stand for nowadays is realizing potential cause. People invested in my life. Employers has taken the chance, so to speak, with a person with a disability. And today I live a full life, very active, very independent, family man, and I do the most of the energy I have. And with that vision of realizing potential, so many others before me and after me I've met and became friends with. And I just want to share quickly also a few other stories before I continue. So some of my friends on the slide here, if I work from my left to right, Ricardo Lodewijk and Anda Mtulu, as people I've met along the way and I've seen how their wheelchairs or their disability hasn't kept them back. Ricardo is a very passionate, committed peer supporter in his area in Stellenbosch. Anda is a businessman, so to speak, champion ballroom dancer. The accidents and incidents didn't put them back, but with the support of employers and support of QASA, they've really made it, so to speak, in life and they really live active lives. The couple here at the bottom, I call him a power couple. Zara and Sherwin, they really also very active, do a lot in the community, employed, do things over and above what they normally want to do, and very active. Just recently, not so recently, but they've also bought their own home, so they're really active and independent and do their own thing. A great friend of mine, Faisal, also very active, employed, very busy, and he's always ready. And I think this picture is so pertinent. He's always ready to support and wave your flag. I always tease him, and whenever I call him, he doesn't ask, how are you? He asks, what do you want? always knowing how to support and help the next person, never thinking that he's disabled and not having anything to offer. A friend of mine I've met through previous employment was a great friend of mine, Akona. Akona's also been back against the wall, didn't really see a bright future for himself, but as he applied himself and as opportunities came his way, he is now really fully economically active and doing great things for himself and his family. Married now with 2 kids and really living a full and active life. The same with old friend of mine, Unati, had an accident. Also, didn't see lots of hope for the future, but again, being supported and becoming employed. He lives a full and active life. Also married now, living on his own. Beautiful daughter, and all of them are just active and in society and included in society and bringing their part in making life worth living and becoming productive members of society. And I think this has encouraged us as the organization to really look at our model in terms of how we support our members and what we do in terms of the wider community and society to see what we can offer in terms of inclusive support. And I think top of mind and at the base of what we want to offer our members and our partners is our organization sustainability, good governance, always doing research on best practices and the next best thing to do and guidelines in terms of disability and the rights with people with disabilities. The base for anything that we want to achieve is continuous growth and also investing in our staff and then seeing that our staff develop at the same pace that we can then adopt and cater for our members' needs. Very key to what we do as an organization is advocacy and lobbying. I think a lot of strength lies in that, where we can open new doors and new territories with advocacy and lobbying and making society more aware of people with disabilities and on the lobby side, breaking those barriers also in terms of disabilities, the challenges and frustrations we face. Education and support is key also, educating our members in terms of their rights, in terms of their health and well-being, and also supporting family and friends and everyone surrounding them. And again, supporting employers and all sorts of other partners in understanding disability and also getting to know that there are ways and means that we can make things happen. Very key to the journey of a person with a disability is also supporting our members with assistive devices, be it a wheelchair, be it just wheels or parts or repairs of the wheelchairs, be it a laptop or something that they can use to become a little bit more active. There's all sorts of different assistive devices that we often need to become just a little bit more active. And I think the ultimate key to that is for members to be mobilized and become a little bit more independent in their approach to what they want to achieve. We do have a big emphasis on capacitating our members, and we do that with all sorts of different projects. Some of the projects, DA stands for the Driving Ambitions Project, where we offer our members the opportunity to learn to drive, and we take you through a program as per any other normal program where you would subscribe to a driving school. We have relationships with driving schools across a few provinces, and that opportunity is available for the guys and girls to get their license. WRP is our flagship work readiness program, where we take our members through a 2-month program where they get equipped with the basics of becoming work ready. But it is nowadays a more holistic approach to just investing into the person's life, to give the person that confidence, talking about goal setting, future ambitions, and really investing into their lives. And key to that is also offering bursaries, and we partner with different companies there that offers funding for education, and that is just the next step in terms of career development and growth. And then I think the pinnacle of what we want to achieve is our members becoming economically active. We have a full-time recruiter, which is the Neshri, which you have met, and we try really our utmost to get everyone economically active and employed and busy, be it entrepreneurial, be it in corporate, in NGOs, wherever they feel comfortable in applying their talents and skills. We want our members to be economically active because once they're active and once they part of the economy, a lot of other things fall into place, not as reliant on government for the state grant that doesn't really do a lot for you. So we feel that if we can support you from the bottom up, that when you become economically active, you really become more independent and can do things a lot more for yourself. And ultimately, what to do is really look at those members coming through the pipeline and looking at future leadership and succession of taking the organization forward. Because I think that's key in keeping the sustainability going of the organization and for the next generations that comes through, that there will be something to offer them also for future generations. Um, I think my last slide will speak to just our approach in terms of how we keep ourselves going as an organization, staying key and focused on our vision, which is to realize potential. And wherever possible, we want to align with members and stakeholders and partners to keep that vision going and to keep everything going. How we do that, as I mentioned, is about continuous improvement. Whatever new ways of doing things come around, we want to adopt that and make things a little bit more efficient and effective in executing our mandate and our vision. Good governance is key. Good governance speaks to our credibility as an organization to execute and with that is our financial prudence in how we use funds received from all sorts of avenues and partners and donors. And then at the end of the day, keeping those partnerships going and keeping it healthy, keeping it to a point where we are symbiotic and not just wanting to receive from our partners, but seeing how our best can be work together in executing our mandate and also realizing the vision of our partners in the same breath. So that is our cycle that we always keep top of mind. That it's not just about the organization, but it's about the partners. It's about keep doing the right things right all the time. And so doing, we will fulfill our mandate in getting our members' potential realized. Yeah, thanks for your time again. And if there are any questions or comments, feel free to express yourself. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Richard. If you have any questions, you can just put in the chat box or you can email me and then I will forward it to our general manager. So the next discussion is we will be talking about our flagship program, which is why we invited all the employers to come on board, just to get to know a little bit about QASA, what we offer, and our flagship program, the Work Readiness Program. So it is a 2-month online course that encourages people from different provinces with disabilities, because normally in the rural areas, what we've noticed is that they don't have access to internet cafes, tertiary education where they want to study further, because they don't have those skills, they don't have those job opportunities. So what we try and do is we try and equip them with the skills to get back into the work environment with entry-level positions. Now, with regards to the high unemployment rate that's been the most pressing socio-economic problems in South Africa, some of our young work seekers are not well educated. They don't possess those skills that we have job opportunities for. And that's the reason why they stay at home and rely on social grants. So that's the reason why people with disabilities are at the bottom of the candidate list for employment. And the reason why we introduced the work readiness program was for the inadequate skills. So we could balance it, we could empower them and get them ready for the work environment. I would present you with a short presentation just to give you a gist of our program and what we entail and how we scale our candidates. We have a very strict recruitment process that we have a lower intake and we see much value in our candidates. I'm going to share my screen now. So these are some of the candidates that have completed and graduated from our work readiness program and went on to full-time employment, which is what we encourage. We want to find them type of employment opportunities that will bring income into their household, to build their confidence, to help their families at home, and to be the breadwinners. When they bring in income, they feel that they're providing to the economy, as well as giving them some hope that there's more to life. Now, the certain candidates that we look for has to be a quadriplegic or a paraplegic member of QASA, aged between 18 and 35. They have to have a matric certificate or an NQF level 4. They have to have the ability to speak and understand English. The candidate must be focused and committed to attending online classes every day, where we have a full-time facilitator to support and assist them. The ambition is to securing full-time employment at the end of the program. In addition to completing all elements of the application form, the applicant must submit a letter to motivate why they wish to participate in the program to secure their place. The modules that make up our work readiness program are all aligned with SACWA unit standards. The work readiness program does not have certification for each module. Candidates will receive a certificate of completion. We support the concept of work readiness rather than learnerships, and believe that our intense course of the work readiness program will be more effective for employment seeking and employment uptake. QASA decided to align the training material to the SACWA unit standard, as it will be rolling out a 2-month online skills program where the focus will be impact of mainstream employment. The modules that we do cover that relates to the work environment, such as motivate and build a team, diversity in the workplace, operate as a project team manager, effective leadership skills. We prep them for their interview skills. And after the program, we don't cut off contact. We still guide them. We still counsel them, offer career advice. We still prep them for interviews to come. So we keep that relationship as well as with the employer that they go into. So at the end of the program, we have a 5-day workplace experience where we try and recruit employers to take on our candidates for 5 days. What QASA assists, we assist the companies to do a online or face-to-face sensitization training with the colleagues from the company, just to give them more knowledge on the do's and don'ts and what to do and what not to do working with people with disabilities. It is quite exciting because you have these activities that you get involved in, and you get to know more about persons with disabilities and the different types of disabilities. We also offer an informal access audit on your building. So we send a representative of QASA in the different provinces to come out to your building to find out whether it is wheelchair accessible. We can give you advice on what to change and what to improve on. So if you take on a candidate from a work readiness program, this is of no charge. We do the sensitization free of charge, because we encourage employers to take on our candidates to see their potential, and hopefully take them on further. With regards to employment, there is no, we don't force employees to take on our candidates, but these 5 days is just to improve what they've learned theoretically and put it into practice mode. That gives them the confidence to be out in the work environment, get used to being with managers, being with different personalities, and they're also ready for working from home. Because this online program, we do it remotely. They have a laptop they work with, they enjoy the classes, we prep them to work during working hours from 8 to 4, so they're already prepped to work from hybrid. Stop sharing. Thank you so much. If there is any questions, we would like to encourage employers to contact us, because we don't charge for placement fees or to send out our CVs. We want our members to get employed full-time, and just to showcase their skills. So if you have any more questions, you can pop me an email, and then we can take our discussion further. Thank you so much. And our next speaker is Lisa Bradshaw. Our next speaker will be Mr. Len Davey. He will be discussing human needs on how it impacts the workplace and how the workplace impacts the human needs. Hi, Len.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yes, we
Yes,
can
I
hear
can.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Thank you. Hi, my name is Len Davey. I am a life coach, but I'm also a paraplegic. I'm disabled. I've been in a wheelchair for 46 years. I had a motor car accident when I was 22, coming from a bachelor party, of course. And straight after, I was in sales, but straight after the accident, I was demoted to a storeman, which is a job that I hated. But anyway, I was very grateful for a job. So I continued working in the store. And not long after, a company that saw my value re-employed me as internal sales. I then went from internal sales, I became a sales manager. From the sales manager, I became a sales director. From the sales director, I opened my own company. And I retired a couple of years ago and then started life coaching. So I haven't always been a life coach, but I have been an employee and I've also been an employer. And if I'd only known about the 6 human needs of a human being, I think my job would have been so much easier. And I just would like to share that with you today. But first and foremost, I just want to state the obvious. People with a disability are first and foremost people. They have the same wants, the same needs as everybody else when it comes to our human needs. Now, the only difference is we do things freestyle, other than the normal people do. It brings me to a story. Is I had a meeting with a director once, and they had stairs. So I took my driver with me to pull me up the stairs. And when we got to the top, the director met us at the top of the staircase and was very apologetic and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that this company doesn't cater for cripples. I'm sorry, people with disabilities." At which stage my driver put up his hand and he said, "Excuse me, sir, my boss is not a cripple or disabled. He just walks freestyle." So hence the statement, we do things freestyle. Okay. So where do these 6 human needs come from? They first saw the light of day with Sigmund Freud and a couple of his cronies that got together and developed these human needs. After that, it got hold of Abraham Maslow came up with his hierarchy of 6 human needs. And just recently, Anthony Robbins adapted them into probably one of the greatest transformation tools that we have today. But he divided these 6 human needs. We divided the human needs into 6 different needs. And they may seem somewhat contradictory as well. The first human need is certainty. So I think all of us need a fair dose of certainty in our life, or probability. We all need a job, money, food, shelter, security. But too much of that leads to boredom. I don't know, in the workplace, when somebody's working at the same job over and over again, doing something the same way, eventually they start to lose a little bit of interest. But that leads to boredom. And what happens from there, they move to our second human need, which is uncertainty or variety. So that we normally get at home, but the workplace should also be inclusive when it comes to variety. And the variety that I'm talking about are hobbies and sports clubs and anything that is different. People go on vacation to get away from work. But if we can apply some variety at work as well, it would be so much better. Because in the workplace, if your work environment can contribute to these human needs, it would be so much more engaging, less stressful, and also more productive. From those two human needs work hand in hand. From there, we go to love and connection. Now, love and connection is fundamental to our survival as human beings. And we thrive on connection because people forever has thrived in a tribe. And when you get kicked out of a tribe, you very often don't make it. And if we look at the difference between certain animals and we look at our humans, some animals' offspring is born they're born precocial. And that means soon after birth, they are quite capable of surviving. Whereas our human babies are not quite so. They stay with us for years and years and years because they don't only rely on us for their physical needs, they also rely on us for their spiritual needs and their psychological needs. And in the workplace, people rely very much on love and connection as well. But love and connection, too much of love and connection, can lead to codependence and very often a lack of self-esteem. The opposite to that is also somewhat contradictory because we all strive for significance. And significance, on the other hand, is opposite to love and connection because we want to be seen as individuals and be recognized for our individuality, which often leads to some problems when it comes to our relationships, because with our need for love and connection comes with love and connection, the other side of it is we also want to be individuals. And if we cannot leave our individuality and put it one side, it does lead to issues. But that leads to a lack of connection. So they go hand in hand. Once those needs are met, we move, those are our basic needs. When those needs are met, we go into our higher needs. Those are growth and contribution. We as human beings, we strive on growth. Growth in everything. When we are born, we start growing. When we die, we stop growing. But when we stop growing, we stagnate. So growth is of paramount importance as well. But these two needs can only take place when our basic needs have been fulfilled. We also live to contribute in our life. Contribution is a higher need. It gives meaning to our life and gives us a deeper sense of happiness when we contribute to the greater good. When we look at these things that we need in our life as needs, and our 6 human needs, there are also 4 classes of human behavior that we use to get these needs. And class 1 in these human behaviors, the first class is we do things, firstly, the main reason we do things is either in search of pleasure and avoidance of pain. So the first 2 sections, class 1 is we do things as it feels good for me, it is good for me, and it is good for everyone else, and it serves the greater good. Our second class that we use to get these needs is not that good. It does not feel good for me, it is good for me, it is good for everyone else, and it's good for the greater need. Then we can move to class 3, which is it doesn't feel good for me. Sorry, it does feel good for me. It is not good for me. It's not good for everyone else, and it's not good for the greater deed. And then our 4th class, it's not good, does not feel good. It is not good for me. It is not good for the greater good. So in other words, the things that we do to meet our needs sometimes are not all that kosher. For instance, on the variety side, when we look at variety, very often gambling, looking at porn, that kind of thing, we utilize as a tool to get to these things. If I had known all of these things when I was a person, when I was working, it would have made me so much happier. And as a boss, if I had known that these rules existed, I would be able to draw up a profile for all of my people. And I would be able to see what needs they do need and what needs they haven't got. And be able to assimilate those needs to the people that work for me. And it would lead to a better environment. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Len. Does anyone have any questions for Len? I don't see any hands up.
Thanks,
Len,
guys.
can
I must
please...
tell you, I must tell you guys, I'm so sorry. This is my first radio, so if I fall off the horse or have fallen off the horse, you know why.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn Taneshri. There is a comment in the chat. Judith just wanted to know, Lynn, if you have a PowerPoint or text summary that can be shared afterwards.
I do have. Unfortunately, I've been so busy with the new program that we've just launched that I've had very little time to really prepare for this. So yes, I can put something together. I do have in our coaching manuals. I have a whole presentation on the 6 human needs, and also there are many ways that we can get around this too. I can create something. Yeah, by all means, get in touch.
I will send all the contact details via email of all the speakers. So if they have more questions, then they will contact you directly.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Len.
so much for your time.
Our next speaker, we have Mr. Rustam Arifdin. He will be discussing the benefits of BBEE learnerships for disability, a disability employment equity solution.
Hello, thank you very much, Taneshri, and hello to everybody from a lovely Cape Town. So let me get my presentation started.
Yes, it has.
Right, so let's go for it. Right, so what I'm talking about today is the benefits of BBEE, specifically focusing on learnerships and as a disability employment equity solution. Now, BBEE is a swear word generally. It is something that is a struggle for employers to achieve. And there's been a couple of developments of late where government has squeezed employers or companies with regard to certain benefits for them if they do not comply with BBEE. Let me give you an example of it. Mercita, which is the manufacturing sector, they have come out strongly now where they have cancelled their allocations to their stakeholders because they are not BBEE compliant. So you need to understand that you pay your levies, you're entitled to the money back. They won't pay you the money back, but you're not BBEE compliant. So it does have major drawbacks. So just some background with regard to the skills development landscape. There are numerous SARS benefits in terms of learnerships. I'll unpack that a bit later. There is, of course, SETA funding by way of your mandatory grants as well as your discretionary grants. And in some cases, there's unsolicited funding that you can get as well. And then on BBEE, where is it going? Based on our political landscape, it's not going to go anywhere. What is the impact at the moment? There are two types of schools of thought around that. When you look at something like socioeconomic development, those are relatively easy points for the company to get. 93% of all the companies that have submitted BBEE scorecards have made an impact. But if you look at ownership, for example, it's not very good there. And then in terms of why BBEE, and this is specifically from a disability perspective, it's that you're able to achieve your BBEE level, you can recover your BBEE spend, and you can meet your target on disability employment equity. Now, this has also been a kind of a misnomer around disability employment equity. Where does it say how much of my workforce needs to be persons with disabilities? It was not clear until a few months ago when the Employment Equity Amendment Act was released and the targets was then set. So now within your company, you need to have 2% of your workforce needs to be persons with disabilities. It was supposed to start in October this year. It's not starting, it's being delayed. Then there's the full good imperative in terms of BBEE. There's job creation for the expanded unemployed, disabled. These are persons with disabilities that leave schools. Very often their qualification is not recognized. They may have a severe intellectual disability. They may come from a school of skills, and they basically go home. They don't look for a job. So they're part of the expanded unemployed definition. Then, of course, there's the supporting of nonprofit organizations like QASA as an example, like the Learners for Special Education in these schools. You can benefit from that. And then, of course, by supporting disabled-owned enterprises, there are benefits for you there as well, which I'm going to be unpacking. Then just the BBEE scorecard, I'm grabbing a couple of the elements there that where disability has got an impact. And keeping in mind, I'm saying this to you because this is a benefit to you by engaging with disability. So on the management side, there's a disability employment equity. Maybe I should put the word black in there. And if 2% of your workforce are persons with disabilities, black, disabled, then you can score the full 2 points there. On the skills development side, your skill spend. Now, the skill spend and the disability spend is the same number, or disability spend is part of skill spend. So if you spend 3.5% of your levyable amount, then you will score maximum points. If you spend 0.3% of your levyable amount or payroll, then you're going to score full points there. If you place a person with a disability on a bursary program, you'll get points there. And then, of course, you get learnership targets. So what a lot of companies do, there are distinct benefits of persons with disabilities with regard to BBEE. So they tend to do their entire learnership targets just for persons with disabilities. And then absorption is some bonus points that you can get in skills development. And absorption is where a person has, because of the intervention with you, you've either employed them permanently yourself, or they've been able to find a job elsewhere, or they are in some form of entrepreneurship. Then enterprise and supply development. Of course, preferential procurement. If you are working with a company that is disabled owned, then you get that adds your preferential procurement. If the disabled owned enterprise becomes a black designated supplier, so if you spend 2% of your procurement with that black designated supplier, you can earn up to 2 points or pro rata thereof. Then you get enterprise development. If you support a company that is disabled owned, then you will be able to earn your 5 points there by spending your 1% of your net profit after tax. If you have that company, a company that is disabled owned, and you're under your supply development, then of course you for your 2% net profit after tax, you will be able to score your 10 points there as well. And then there's a couple of bonus points that you can earn as well if the company that you are assisting through your enterprise and or supply development, they create one job, you get a bonus point there. And if you convert an enterprise development company to a supply development company, you can earn a 1 point there. Now, let me just pause at this point here. This means that if you support enterprises that are owned by persons with disabilities, it can have an impact in terms of your BBEE scorecard. So QASA's work readiness program prepares people for employment, but it also prepares people for entrepreneurship. They may very well be able to offer you services as entrepreneurs with disabilities. They could, for example, help you with recruitment. They can help you with regard to supporting learners on learnerships, or they may actually fit into your supply chain directly. So it's important to think about it from that perspective. And then on the socioeconomic development side, once again, you take an organization like QASA or the Quad Pad Association within the Western Cape. If you make a donation to them, you will be able to get, as a socioeconomic development grant, you will be able to get 5 points there as well. So those are the integration of disability within the scorecard. Now let's just talk about some of the money. Learnerships can be very beneficial financially for a company to engage with. So as I said previously, one is that through disability, you can maximize the points that you earn on your BBEE scorecard, but you can also recover quite a big percentage of those points. And this is how that is done. From the SARS benefits, there is the employee tax incentive that amounts to 1,500 Rand per person per month over the duration of the learnership. So that's an 18,000 Rand financial benefit. If you look at Section 12H of the Tax Act, which is the tax allowance, for a person with disability, you can get up to 120,000 Rand tax allowance, which is equivalent to 32,400 Rand after you've taken the cash value of the tax allowance. And very similar with Section 11A of the Tax Act, every single expense that you have in terms of learnerships is tax deductible. Then your SETA discretionary grants, SETAs will basically provide you with a discretionary grant. Of that grants, training and stipend, that goes for any person that's going on to a learnership, but many SETAs will offer you a disability grant as well. And that, of course, allows you to get a bigger recovery. And that's the type of grant that you can use by engaging with an organization like QASA, where a learner or a person has gone through their work readiness program, and now you're basically taking them onto a learnership. Not only are you getting the tax allowance, which is 120,000 Rand compared to a non-disabled person of 80,000 Rand, you're able to get this disability grant as well. You will find that when you do this type of intervention, you're recovering more money than what you're spending. So doing learnerships for the disabled has got advantages. Then just in terms of where you can get money from, I've mentioned your SETA, but these are government funds in terms of the developmental funding institutions that also provides funds. The Jobs Fund, that has provided funds, and it funds businesses. So you can apply to the Jobs Fund for funding. Then there's expanded public works program. If you work with a disability organization or any type of nonprofit organization, can maybe access some of the funding there. They basically do internships, so you can incorporate those internships that really come with a stipend, and then you can augment that stipend. And it can easily be a person that comes out of the QASA work readiness program that is on an expanded public works program. And then, of course, you can have them as an intern for 12 months to 18 months. Then the Unemployment Insurance Fund, they've got a labor activation scheme that they run from time to time. So as an employer, you contribute towards this fund. You can get benefit from there as well. And then the National Skills Fund. Keeping in mind that 20% of the money that you pay into your skills development levy, goes to this fund. So you're entitled to tap into that as well. So I've told you about how you can make money on the learnership side, but what are the expenses? So your expenses essentially are the learner stipend and training fee, and then there's the learner management fee as well. And then I want to pause a little bit here on doing learnerships and recovering your net profit after tax spend. Now, generally, when you are spending money, and I want to use QASA as an example, you are providing the Quad Para Association with a donation. And that donation is your 1% net profit after tax. You give it to them, you get your 5 points. But what QASA does with that money is that it runs a work readiness program. That work readiness program is providing you with a recruit for your company. Now, any time that you place somebody in your company, it's roughly 15 to 20% of the annual cost of that person. Make an assumption that the person's earning 100,000 Rand a year. That means you are saving 15,000 Rand on the grant you pay that company. That's a big, big difference and benefit to you as an enterprise, because one, you are earning the enterprise, the socioeconomic development points, and number two, you're getting value for that spend without QASA actually charging you a fee, and they openly state that they do not charge a fee. Then one last aspect I want to highlight, and companies can achieve a level 8 even if their ownership is 100% white-owned and their procurement is essentially a low point value as well, because a lot of their purchases are not from Black enterprises. Give you an example, a car manufacturing company, Toyota, just to use an arbitrary example, they basically bring their cars in from overseas, from Japan, or they buy it from Japan. So they are not really buying from Black enterprise within South Africa. Company like that barely will make it to a level 8. Then they get discounted because they don't have certain minimums, and therefore they are non-compliant. Now, buying into something like Yes, what Yes is that you basically create a certain number of jobs for a certain period, normally a year. You create this job for a year, and you pay this person the salary. And because you place them on the Yes program, which is the Youth Employment Services program, and you basically are able to jump a level or two. So even though you're at a non-compliant level, you jump out of non-compliant into maybe a level 7, and you then become compliant. What is also useful is to once again take a beneficiary out of the work readiness program. You place them into the Yes program, and for 12 months, they are employed in your business. If that person is a good fit, you absorb the person, then you've gotten the benefit of both worlds, right? You've been able to get the points for Yes, and you've been able to look at your Black disabled employment or your employment equity side as well. So that is the benefit that Yes provides as well. There is a possibility that you could even match Yes with learnerships, which means that through this intervention, you not only are sourcing persons with disabilities as a recruitment tool, but there is the net profit after tax benefits as well, because you are supporting an organization like the Quad Para Association in terms of socioeconomic development, or you may be working with Black disabled entrepreneurs that may be helping you on the recruitment side or on the learnership management side. So that's an impact that Yes can have on your business. So just in a nutshell, why BBEE for your business? 1, because you're going to maximize your points. 2, you can recover a substantial percentage of your spend of your points. And 3, you are able to meet your Black disability employment equity requirements. Thank you very much. I put my name and my email address in the chat. So if anybody wishes to make contact with me, please feel free to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rashtam. You can contact Rustam directly for questions, or does anyone have any questions now? You are free to ask.
Dineshri,
Yes.
there were two questions earlier on. I'm not sure if it has been addressed privately. One was from Bafumo. Does QASA have a presence in all provinces? Can I just quickly confirm? We have in most provinces, we have structures. At the moment, it is Northern Cape, Namakwa region, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KZN, and Gauteng. And also Northwest. At the moment, we don't have a lot of presence in Limpopo and Mpumalanga. And then Bina asked, how does one become a member of QASA? Bina, you can send an email to info@QASA.co.za, and we will be able to facilitate it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you to each and everyone for attending our employment webinar. I hope that you've learned a lot and go back to your colleagues and explain what QASA is about, what we offer. And I hope to hear from you soon with employment opportunities offering to our candidates. We can take this discussion further via email or meet online. But I do appreciate you attending this webinar, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.